Everything up, numbers moving, like a true champ. You on Deuce? Bear with me a little bit, Under the weather. Y'all sent me to hang out with Deuce for a little while, and I came back a little under the weather. So this was supposed to be when?
Monday.
Yeah, we're a little bit late, but we got to recap the Super Bowl. I wonder how people still travel. Everybody out there, do you still travel with masks and things of that nature? I still do. I travel with my mask. I think that's why I got myself sick, to be honest. Because mental, I said, I don't have my mask, and I was kind of running behind, rushing a little bit, because I did have my mask, but I didn't find it till later on. And I didn't want to disrupt anyone. So I decided to just rock with it and didn't put my mask on. And I think because I told myself I was going to get sick because I didn't have my mask, I got sick. I'm a little under the weather. That's why I stay on Deuce until we, lock in. So what have you been up to? Anything new, anything changed? You see, I'm a little iced out. I'm a little heavy today, right? I'm a little heavy. Mm-hmm. I'm a little heavy. Nothing new?
No. School, homework, repeat.
Hey, that's a lot in itself. Let's lock in there. Welcome. We in for a good treat. This is the third installment. This is also the recap of Super Bowl 59. A lot to talk about. I got to give you your flowers right now. You was right. You picked the Eagles, and they came through for you. Indeed. I had people on both sides, so I didn't put nothing out publicly. But I'm going to go on the record to say that your decision to pick the Eagle was swayed by the information that I gave you.
Absolutely not. Like Colin would say, cap.
No cap. Come on now. All this information that I fed you, all of the, the talks about the Chiefs not really actually losing the game this season, them choosing to rest their players. Maybe they lost one, that wasn't going to be a factor into this. All the information you got. Shout out also to Jason and OC. They got a podcast, so y'all go look them up. Jason, Bell, OC Umayor. They said this, I don't want to lie to you, maybe a month ago. OC said, they was winning ugly. And, sometimes you win ugly games, and that's okay because, winning by 1 point, winning by 50 points, you just want to win. But he was like, man, I think they should have lost some of those games because they would have to dig deep and change some of the things and make some adjustments and things of that nature. And because they did not lose those games early on, that could have an effect on them and that they were going to lose ugly soon. And I think Super Bowl 59 has to be one of the ugly losses in Super Bowl history. Would you say? Did you look that up? What was the ugliest loss in Super Bowl history? Because it ended 40-22, but that was a 40-6 game. The Eagles got a chance to play a lot of their players. A lot of guys. Some people make it to Super Bowl, some people make it to the playoff one time, and that's it. So they had an opportunity to play a lot of their players. So let's dive in. So straight off the bat, Eagles came out dominating, and I'm a DB, so that first drive when they had that pass interference on the receiver, I was like, wow, okay. Because a lot has been said about the Kansas City having the referees in their pocket. Now, I don't believe in all that, you know what I mean? But some people, I guess you have to say conspiracy theorists, was like, hey, the referees flipped the script. They had a couple of calls that Kansas City could have had, I think it was a personal foul late in the game on Patrick Mahomes. They didn't call it. But let me say this, man. The referees, I know a couple of refs personally, they are human, what I mean? And they're trying to make this, they're making these calls in the heat of the moment with a lot going on, what I mean? So just like the players make mistakes on the field, the referees, I know we don't want them to make mistakes, and we don't want them to, be able to control the game and put an imprint on the game, but they do make some mistakes, man. They're not going to catch everything. That's just the nature of it, And because I think we have these cameras and things everywhere, we can go back and rewind and highlight and zoom in. Everything is 8K quality or even better, that in real time, those things, you just don't see them. What I mean? Let's just be honest. You just don't see them. Those little tugs, those holds, this, that, and the third. You're looking at certain things. There's only so much that you can see, So all of that is, I guess, subjective when it comes to, the refereeing and the calling of the game. But Eagles had a great game plan. That front four said, look, we going to rush. We going to create havoc with 4. And y'all can drop in coverage and do y'all schemes on the back end, and it was a well-armed machine, man. They put pressure on Mahomes. It looked like he never got comfortable in the pocket. It looked like he was always, looking for the rush, seeing where guys were going to come from. The front four for the Eagles put on a good show, and that was one of the things that they changed from last year. They changed D coordinators and offensive coordinator from last year. So kudos to the GM for making those hires, because they paid off big. Went from being an average defense last year to being the number 1 defense this year. And you can go ahead and say defense wins championships because they dominated. But I like what they did on offense too, man. The young guy, I think he just got the Saints head coaching job, Kellen Moore. I like what they did on offense. What I mean by that is they took what the Kansas City Chiefs coach Spagnuolo gave them, right? Looked like Kansas City had honed in on, hey, we're not going to let Saquon beat us. I call him Saquon. I know it's not his name, but we're not going to let Saquon beat us. We're going to, have people in the box. We're going to stop the run. But Eagles was able to make some big throws. They was able to, play the chess game with Coach Spags, right? In doing that, right? And everybody looked like they got a fair shake, because the first touchdown, was who the first? No, it wasn't a touchdown, because he ended up being down on the 1 yard line. But the first pass play that was successful, that would look like a out up, a double move kind of a play. So, but they was able to hit it, and Jalen throws was on the money. They were sharp. When he did throw it, it was on the money. It was a well dialed up call by the offensive coordinator. It was well executed by the team out in the field. And then I thought a couple of times early on in the game that Jalen could have took off and ran the ball. I thought I saw some gaps in there because I didn't see the spy on all the time. And I think that was an adjustment that they made at halftime, because he came out in the second half and he took a bunch of those, When I mean a bunch, he ended the game with like 72 or so rushing yards. But again, it was a game of adjustment, so they made an adjustment. We're not gonna let the running back beat us, right? Barkley's not gonna beat us. So now you're able to run these individual plays where everybody's focusing on your running back, and then Jalen takes off. Or now we have those pass plays dialed up, but then we didn't spy on the quarterback, and then Jalen takes off and get a first down. So I think it was a very well executed game by the Eagles. I think the Eagles felt like nobody gave them a chance. If you watch all the experts, they pick, the majority pick Kansas City to win. So, kudos to the champions, Philadelphia Eagles and their team. Kudos to the MVP. I think it's so crazy, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts, shout out to him, man. He's he's just a man of character, Look like a man of integrity. just carry himself the right way. You know what I mean? Look like a true professional in everything that he does, says. A man of, seems like little words, but when he speak, it's loud. You know, less is more. So kudos to him and his family, his team. You know, congratulations to the Eagles for, you know, accomplishing what they set out to accomplish this year. Hey, Kansas City, y'all have nothing to put your head down on, man. You know, almost repeat. Almost. It's not good enough, but in horseshoes. But, you know, y'all been playing a lot of good football. A lot of good football. And, you know, hats off to you guys, man. And, hey, Patrick Mahomes still young. So, who's to say he's not going to be here again? So, yeah, shout out to, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, Spagnola, Dave Merrick. But big congratulations to the champions, the world champ, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the MVP, Jalen Hurts, as well as, I shift gears a little bit. I think, and I don't want to do this, but I got to say this, I think the type of season that Barkley had, he should have been considered for the league MVP. No, you know, Josh Allen had a pretty good season, right? But I think, man, I just don't like for those awards to be just a quarterback award. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes that's what happens to those awards. The Heisman, I feel like that's what happened to the Heisman. It becomes a quarterback award at times, right? To me, it's supposed to go to the best player in, you know, but it's the best college player Heisman or the best NFL player. And sometimes that's just not it. And I think this was the first time, or the second time maybe, that somebody didn't make the All-Pro team and was the MVP of the league. So I want to say Lamar Jackson is first team All-Pro AFC. I want to say Josh Allen is second team. But I think this is the second time that this happened, that a second teamer made MVP. But Lamar Jackson had a great season. Josh Allen had a great season. I just think Saquon Barkley should have got considered for that MVP. You know what I mean? He almost had a historic season. He set out, and I don't know if we should hold that against him. He set out to, because he could have got the award easily. I mean, he could have got the 2,000 rushing yards easily. But he had, and it worked out perfect for the Eagles, you know what I mean? He had bigger things in mind, not personal goals, team goals that was bigger in mind. You got that fact for me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
2024 NFL All-Pro, first team, quarterback Lamar Jackson, running back Saquon Barkley, fullback Patrick Ricard, tight end Brock Bowers, wide receivers Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Man, LSU representing, right, in the wide receiver room. Yeah, so, you know, Lamar had a great season, but I think even with him having a great season, I think Saquon should have got league MVP. That's my opinion. You know, that's another guy, you know, a classic guy right there, man. I think he should have got considered for it a little bit more than we talked about, because it would seem like if Josh Allen didn't get it, then Lamar was going to get it. I think the type of season that Saquon had, he should have been above both of those guys. It's a historic season, you know what I'm saying? It's literally a historic season. But you saw the type of character that guy said, you know what, I don't want to go after. And he had a couple of times where he could have, you know, got more yards. When I think the single season or the single game, I think in Eagle histories for rushing, he was like, nah, let them young guys eat, coach. I'm good. You feel what I'm saying? So where a lot of times we see a lot of guys like padding their stats, you know what I mean, go back in the game, get X, Y. We saw, I hate to say this, going to basketball, we saw SGA did this a little bit. They was already up by like 25. SGA, I'm talking about the Thunder, right? Oklahoma Thunder. They was already up by 25, 30 points. He went back in the game to get him another 50-pointer. I just think that a guy that's doing it the right way. Saquon, he didn't do that. You know what I mean? He didn't pad the stats. He did get rushes that he wasn't supposed to get, in times where the game was already sealed. He's like, nah, let them young guys eat. All of that, I think that should have got a little more considerism in, if that's right, considerism. I might have made that word up.
Consideration, maybe?
Consideration, yeah. I might have made that word up. Yep. That should have more consideration for him in that department because he did that. And he sat out a game. So, anyway, neither here nor there. Shout out to those guys, man. They did what they wanted to do, though. So that tells you, those personal goals don't mean a whole lot to certain individuals, right? That the team goal, and we're playing the ultimate team sport, means a lot. Give me some records. I saw a lot of records that was being broken, man. I saw offensive linemen. I think the Eagles had the largest group of offensive linemen ever, if I'm not mistaken. This year and not only this year, but also I think from the first Super Bowl to Super Bowl 49, it's 100-pound difference in the offensive linemen. First Super Bowl offensive lineman was like 245 pounds, 50 pounds. This year, average for the Philadelphia Eagles, 350 pounds. Pause. Massive guys. So you just seeing where the game has grown to, right? Like, these guys are massive. These guys are strong, fast, quick, speed. Also, some other numbers. The commercial costs. The broadcasting, right? Do you have those numbers too? Matter of fact, lay there. We got to get this. I think from the first Super Bowl, it was broadcast in only America. Super Bowl 59 was broadcast in 195 countries. I think the average ticket price for the first Super Bowl was about $40, $45. I think the average ticket price for Super Bowl 59 was $6,000.
Somewhere close to it.
Gosh, right? Is that inflation or what? And then the Super Bowl cost, I think the average Super Bowl cost was like $450 for a commercial spot.
And now $8 million.
$8 million for a commercial spot. So, Super Bowl is growing. It is growing. And do we have the official numbers on viewers? I think they said there's about 100 and, at one point I saw 115 million people. At another point I saw 124 million. So do we have the final count?
Yes. The 2025 Super Bowl was the most watched in history. 137 million.
137 million. That's awesome. So keep growing the game. Hey, I had Deuce hit me up. He was like, hey, they didn't pay Kendrick Lamar? I'm like, nah, they don't never pay nobody to perform at the Super Bowl, man. I said, because, it's their platform, and plus they're exposing you to a whole audience that may not have known about you. So to put it in perspective, I think for that 13-minute spot for halftime show, Kendrick Lamar's stock went up almost $200 million. So I think he got paid well, handsomely. You could just imagine the streaming numbers, right? People that didn't know who he was, from all over 195 countries, 100 and what you said, 30 million people, right? They're going to stream, they're going to check it out. And the build up to it, the halftime show, let's go to that, with the whole back and forth with him and Drake, with the Grammys a week ahead of the Super Bowl, with the build up, is he going to perform the song, right? I think he had to perform the song. Once the song won Grammys, like it wasn't no keeping the song away from, the audience or the Super Bowl halftime show. Like it just won a Grammy. Like I don't know if that ever happened where this song has pulled off that kind of success where it's a Grammy award-winning diss song. I don't know. I don't know if that ever happened before, but and just the lawsuits and stuff that was going on behind it. And let's just think about this. So this halftime show, it's about 4 to 5 people that have to come together to say, all right. And this is why I always wonder why we get it wrong sometimes. So hear me out. You got Fox who's broadcasting the Super Bowl, right? You have the NFL who is, the partnership with Fox, and they're putting on this huge event, right? You have Rock Nation who's responsible for the entertainment and halftime show. You also have, Kendrick Lamar and his team, right? And I would just say you have a whole bunch of lawyers, the fifth person, I could be missing a whole bunch of lawyers that work with all of these individuals that's saying, hey, we already know lawsuits has been filed. All right, how we go about doing this? And them pressing forward and saying, yes, like this is what it's gonna be. So man, kudos to Kendrick Lamar. And I heard a lot of, mixed reviews about the halftime show. Obviously, demographically, and we can say this, I remember a while ago, my mom is a big Snoop Dogg fan. And it's been known for a while that a certain demographic of people go to concerts, right? I remember, I don't remember what year it was, but I remember just thinking and having a conversation about Snoop Dogg performing in like Montana, in Iowa. We was like, oh man, what demographic is out there? But the demographic that buys hip hop is not the same demographic that makes hip hop for the most part. And that's kind of the same thing with, our entertainment when it comes to sport. Especially football. Football is about 70+ % of African Americans that playing in football, but that's not the families and individuals that's going to the game. So I'm saying all that to say, it's going to be a few mixed, demographics, and some may not have been privy to who Kendrick Lamar is just because of the ticket prices, right? Because all demographics can't go to that game. And or who's sitting in the actual seats of that game. So, but I think if you just can appreciate an artist and appreciate it was February with I forgot our mayor back in the day, called it Chocolate City, being in New Orleans.
Ray Nagin,
yep. Chocolate City being in New Orleans. And we, NFL kicking off Black History Month, right? I think you can appreciate the show in that regards. And it had a lot of symbolism in it too. The red, white, and blue he had in it. And at times, his positioning, having Uncle Sam into it, meaning, shout out Samuel L. Jackson, telling the crowd, telling the people what to do. A lot of symbolism. So if you could just, appreciate that, him putting that on for the time that is in, I think that's cool. Everybody get to be subjective and give your opinion, and that's cool too. I think that's all, it's all warranted as well. But I appreciate him, putting on the symbolism and enlightening individuals in his artistry way. You feel what I'm saying? So what do you think happened outside, once the confetti had fallen? What's next? Parades? This is being planned. Tell us about how those families reacted after Super Bowl 49. What was it like?
59.
What I said?
49.
Oh yeah, 59. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
I'm sure it was emotions just through the roof. Happy, glad. They were just an emotional roller coaster. Crying, I'm sure. Tears of joy.
Tears of joy. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we saw a couple of moments where Jalen Hurts was embraced by his father.
Oh yeah.
Saw him embraced by, is he married? Is his wife?
Fiance,
I'm sorry. Was embraced by his fiance. Saw a moment by I-55. I always like to call him that because he went to a meet. But it's Devontae Smith, right?
Yep.
he had lost a high school championship in the Superdome. But for him to come back around, you know, I think he won 2 national championships, won the Heisman Trophy, but ultimately winning Super Bowl 59 there, right in his hometown. Well, about maybe, 60 miles away from New Orleans. It was awesome for him. Eric, I always call him Eric. Eric is his brother. Justin Reed playing about another 45 miles away from his hometown. That was good. So I'm just talking about those individuals that had family, like a lot of family that could travel because they're from here. You know what I mean? There's a couple others that I missed. But, yeah, now I can just remember just being exhausted after those games. And I saw Gilly was putting on a full performance in what it looked like to be the Philadelphia team party. You know what I mean? You know, we had those team parties and stuff like that. And I made it that far. Showered at the facility after the game, was just tired though, you know what I mean? Went to the hotel for a second to put some things up, and then just got down to the family and friends party with the coaches, wives and family and the owners. I was exhausted just chilling there. But Gilly, like, he put on a great show for those guys. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna say Gilly had a great time in New Orleans dancing with the people in New Orleans.
Everybody. Gilly had a great time.
Because New Orleans, we second line, we dance, we do whatever, and he felt right in.
He embraced it.
Oh, yeah.
He embraced it. And he wasn't new to New Orleans, he had been with Cash Money and everything like that a while. So, but he embraced the culture. He put it on. He was dancing. He had a great time. I lived vicariously through him for Super Bowl 59.
He made sure hometown local Too Short Blow the Whistle was on and popping.
Many people don't know Too Short reps.
I don't care what day.
Too Short reps, California, the West Coast.
True indeed.
But many people don't know Too Short is from, you want to say Luland or Hornville, Louisiana? My fault, yeah.
Correct.
Too Short don't. I ain't got nothing against you. I'm a big fan. But that
Let me
is
get
true.
my bus driver for you.
big fan. Yeah, many people don't know that. But yeah, now any other stats that I missed for the Super Bowl halftime that folks need to know?
I'm ready for that one.
Yeah, before I get ahead of myself.
All right. It is K-Dot amazing. From about 9 p.m. to midnight, Kendrick's music spiked nearly 175% on Spotify.
That's what I'm talking about. He got paid. That 13-minute spot that he had, he got paid.
Not like us, taking the crown at 430% increase. Humble followed with 300% increase. All the stars with SZA went up 290%.
Shout out SZA and who else? All the artists that performed, because there was a lot of groups, and even Serena Williams popped out.
Chris Walk.
C-Walk. Yeah, that's big. You know what I mean? So they're gonna take that show on the road. It's about to be a concert, a tour.
Called Grand National.
That what it called? Grand National. GNX. Hey, you ever had a Grand National? I wasn't a Grand National guy. I was a Monte Carlo guy. Grand National, Monte Carlo, kind of like the same family. Grand National, Monte Carlo, Cutlass, Regal. You know what I mean? I was the Monte Carlo guy.
Sound like an old song.
Yeah. Cash Money let you know. Cutlass, Monte Carlos, and Regals, man. Yeah. He Grand National. All good, though. All American muscle. The stats that we missed from the halftime.
I don't think so.
Now it's time to get into what? Basketball season. Are you ready?
We gonna see.
Are you ready? Basketball season is upon us. We got, March Madness is approaching. You have big trades that didn't happen in the NBA. Are you ready? Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. Luka, probably the biggest trade in history. We got to talk about that. AD, Mavericks. A lot of people in new uniforms right before the trade deadline. What do you think the parade is going to be like? Philly.
They haven't had that parade yet?
I wasn't there. You're supposed to be the fat queen. Did they have it? I didn't get invited.
See.
Now I said it just to wrap it all up. It's a lot that goes into, being the ultimate team sport when it comes to football, right? The individual teams, the micro teams that sacrifice and, help, it's, you wouldn't believe, from the training room to the equipment, all right, to cafeteria to, everybody that's inside of the organization. And then you go to micro outside of the organization, the guys that acupuncture, chiropractor, stretching, yoga, Pilates, everybody have different routines that at the end of the day collectively come together that helps these organizations or these players to be able to perform at their best. Therapists, psychiatrists, right? It's a lot. The families, the sacrifice that the women behind these young men take, right? The wives, the significant others, So it's a lot that goes into this. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot of people that is deserving of some attention and deserving of some thanks that goes into helping these athletes and these coaches and these organizations that are very successful, right? It's a lot that goes into that. So kudos to all those individuals, man. It's really and truly the ultimate team sport. And, one part can't say to the other that, nah, you're not important, because they all are. And they all have to be working together as one. That's the beauty in it. You know what I'm saying? Coming together and working together as one is the ultimate. That's when it all aligns. The star, the moon, you know what I mean? When multiple groups can come together and work together as one, oh man, it's a beautiful thing. And that's what I think the Super Bowl and things of that nature, I always say the Super Bowl because it's the ultimate team sport. Basketball have 5, Super Bowl, football have 11 people on the field, but so many moving parts come together as one. And it's amazing how, man, sports just bring us all together. We can, doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter what creed, what religion, for some reason, especially for the Super Bowl, we can all come together and act as one, and that's what sports does. And I think we need to take a bit of a page out of the Super Bowl football experience and use that in everyday life. Like, we can come together for more than just sporting events. We can come together for more than just the Super Bowl and be on one page when it comes to just unifying the world and making it a better place. So I'll leave y'all with that, man. Congratulations again with Super Bowl 59. Y'all did a great job, Eagles. Y'all whole staff, y'all got it done. Hey, better luck next year, Kansas City. Coach Spags, Dave Merritt. And look, we got more to come, man. Y'all, like we always say, subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. Beat up the like button. Chime in the comment sections. Be very subjective, but be respectful. And we got basketball. We got life. We got a lot more to come. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to be out.